I took a shortcut through Nevada in 2019. I still check my backseat. I need to write this down. My therapist says it might help, though I'm not sure anything really helps at this point. This happened 4 years ago, and I still can't drive alone at night. I still check every gas station bathroom twice before I use it. I still wake up sometimes with that same metallic taste of fear in my mouth. So here's the thing. I know how these stories go. I know everyone says, I should have trusted my gut, or something felt off. But you have to understand, when you're actually living through something, your brain does this thing where it desperately tries to convince you everything is normal. It's a survival mechanism, right? Because the alternative, accepting that you're in real danger, is too terrifying to process in the moment. This happened in August 2019. I was 26, driving from Sacramento to Denver for my sister's wedding. Solo road trip, which I'd done a dozen times before. I'm one of those people who actually enjoys the solitude of long drives, audiobooks, gas station coffee, those weird little roadside attractions. The whole journey usually took me about 18 hours with stops, straight shot on I-80. Except this time, I decided to be clever. About 4 hours in, somewhere in the absolute middle of nowhere, Nevada, I saw a sign for Route 376. My GPS was showing the usual route with a big red line, accident ahead, 3+ hour delay. I'd been making good time, feeling alert, and this highway looked like it cut south and then back east, saving me probably 2 hours if I pushed through. Looking at my phone now, I can see exactly where I made the turn. There's literally nothing out there. The satellite view shows tan earth and the thin gray line of a road disappearing into emptiness. I should mention that my phone was at 34% battery. This becomes important. The first hour on Route 376 was actually kind of beautiful in that desolate way. You know that particular quality of western desert light in late afternoon? Everything goes golden and the shadows get long and you feel like you're driving through a postcard. I passed maybe 3 cars total. The road was well maintained, 2 lanes, easy driving. Then the pavement got worse. Not terrible, just older. More cracks. Fewer lane markings. I hadn't seen another car in probably 40 minutes when I passed the first sign. Next services 87 miles. That made me check my gas gauge. 3/4 full. Plenty. My car got good mileage. The sun was getting lower now, that weird twilight hour where everything looks flat and strange. I turned on my headlights even though I didn't quite need them yet. That's when I saw the rest stop. It wasn't marked on my GPS. Just this pull-off area with a cinderblock building and 2 picnic tables that looked like they'd been sitting there since 1975. The building was that color that all desert structures eventually become. This washed-out beige gray that looks like the landscape is slowly digesting it. I almost kept driving, but I'd been on the road for 5 hours and I needed to pee, and the next services were 87 miles away. So I pulled in. There was one other vehicle there. A white pickup truck, older model, parked kind of far from the bathroom building. No one visible inside it. The parking area was just packed dirt and some crumbling asphalt. I pulled up close to the building, put my car in park, and sat there for a second. That's when I noticed how quiet it was. Like, profoundly quiet. No birds, no wind, just this heavy silence that felt like it was pressing against my eardrums. I told myself I was being ridiculous. I got out. The air was still and hot and smelled like dust and creosote. The bathroom building had 2 doors, one marked with a faded W, one with an M. No lights on inside that I could see through the small window gaps, but it was still twilight, still enough ambient light. I tried the women's door. It opened with this long, horror movie creak. Inside was about what you'd expect: concrete floor, metal stall, sink with a mirror so filthy I could barely see my reflection. The light switch didn't work, but there was enough light coming through the small window near the ceiling. It smelled like chemicals and something else, something organic and unpleasant that I didn't want to identify. Here's the thing that bothered me. The toilet paper holder in the stall was full. Like, completely full, new roll. In this bathroom that obviously hadn't been maintained in years, where the soap dispenser was broken and hanging off the wall, where there were spiderwebs in the corners. Someone had recently restocked the toilet paper. I peed quickly, didn't wash my hands, the sink was bone dry anyway, and got out of there. When I came out, the white pickup truck was gone. I stopped walking, just stood there in the empty parking lot, my car about 20 feet away, and felt the first real twist of unease in my stomach. The truck had been parked in a way where the driver would have had to pass my car to exit. I'd been in the bathroom for maybe 2 minutes. I hadn't heard an engine start. Hadn't heard tires on gravel. The sun was setting properly now, the sky going purple and orange, and I was suddenly very aware of how isolated this place was. I couldn't see any buildings in any direction. No lights. Just desert and mountains and that endless darkening sky. I walked quickly to my car, got in, locked the doors immediately. My hands were shaking slightly as I started the engine. I sat there for a second, checking my mirrors, looking around. Nothing. Nobody. I pulled back onto Route 376 and kept driving east. For the next 20 minutes, I kept checking my rearview mirror. No headlights behind me, nothing ahead either, just my headlights cutting through the growing darkness and the white lines strobing past. My phone rang and I actually yelped. It was my sister. I put her on speaker. "Hey, where are you?" "Middle of fucking nowhere, Nevada," I said, and I tried to laugh but it came out wrong. "Took a shortcut. It's pretty desolate out here." "You okay? You sound weird." "Yeah, there was this creepy rest stop and I'm being paranoid." "I'm fine." We talked for maybe 10 minutes about wedding stuff, normal things, and I felt better. Calmer. I was being ridiculous. A truck left a rest stop. So what? Then my phone beeped. Low battery warning. 15%. Shit. I gotta go. My phone's dying. "Okay. Text me when you stop for the night." "Will do." I hung up and immediately plugged my phone into the car charger. Except the charger wasn't working. I unplugged it, plugged it back in. Nothing. The charging port on my phone had been finicky lately, but I'd been using this same cable all day without issues. 14% battery. Okay, that was fine. I'd find a gas station, buy a new cable. Next service is 87 miles. I'd driven maybe 20 of those already. Another hour, tops. The road stretched ahead, empty. My headlights showed sagebrush and dirt and the occasional reflector post. I turned on the radio for company. Static on every station. I kept scanning, found a country station that cut in and out, some guys singing about trucks. Better than silence. That's when I saw the figure. Standing on the right side of the road, maybe 50 yards ahead, just at the edge of my headlight range. A person-shaped silhouette. My brain did that thing. Tried to make it not a person. A sign. A post. A trick of the light. But as I got closer, there was no denying it. Someone was standing on the side of the road in the middle of the desert at night. I slowed down. I don't know why. Instinct, I guess. You slow down for people. It was a man. Tall, wearing what looked like a dark jacket and jeans. He was facing the road, not looking at me, not waving for help. Just standing there. I passed him doing maybe 30 miles per hour, and as my headlights swept over him, I saw his face for just a second. He turned his head to watch my car go by. His expression was completely neutral. Not friendly, not threatening. Just watching. And then he was behind me, and I accelerated, my heart pounding for reasons I couldn't quite articulate. Who stands on the side of a desert highway at night? Where was his car? Had he walked there? From where? I checked my rearview mirror obsessively for the next 5 minutes. No one behind me. Just darkness. The radio cut out to static. I turned it off. 11% battery. I don't know exactly when I started to feel like something was really wrong. It wasn't one thing. It was the accumulation. The too quiet rest stop. The fresh toilet paper. The silent departure of the truck. The man on the road. My phone dying. The radio static. My therapist would later tell me that our subconscious picks up on patterns and dangers faster than our conscious mind can process them. That feeling of wrongness. That's your animal brain screaming at you to pay attention. I was paying attention now. The road had gotten worse. More potholes. The center line had disappeared entirely in some sections. I hadn't seen a road sign in probably 30 minutes. My GPS showed me as a blue dot on a thin gray line with nothing around me in any direction. Then my headlights caught something ahead. A structure. I slowed down as I approached. It was a gas station. Or had been. Single island with 2 ancient pumps, small building with big windows that reflected my headlights back at me. No lights on. Clearly abandoned. The windows were dusty, The awning over the pumps was collapsed on one side. But parked in front of the building was the white pickup truck. I stopped in the middle of the road. Just stopped, my car idling, staring at this truck that should not have been there. It had been behind me at the rest stop. I'd been driving east this whole time. There was no way for it to have gotten ahead of me. No way. Unless there was a parallel road. A shortcut to the shortcut. Or unless it had passed me when I was on the phone with my sister and I somehow hadn't noticed, which seemed impossible but. The driver's side door of the truck was open. I could see it hanging there, interior light on, illuminating the cab. Empty. I looked at the building. The windows were too dark to see inside. But someone had driven that truck here. Recently. Very recently. My phone. 8%. Every instinct I had was screaming at me to drive. Just drive. Don't stop. Don't investigate. Get out of there. But this was also possibly my only chance to get help. My phone was dying. I hadn't seen any other structures or signs of civilization. What if I ran out of gas? What if my car broke down? I sat there in the middle of the road, engine running, having what I can only describe as a full internal argument with myself. Then I saw movement in my peripheral vision. The man from the road was walking out from behind the abandoned gas station. He moved into the glow of my headlights, and this time I got a better look at him. Tall, maybe 6'2" or 6'3". Dark hair. That same neutral expression. He wasn't walking toward me, exactly, just walking across the lot, perpendicular to my car, like I wasn't there. Then he stopped, turned, looked directly at me, and smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile. It was the smile of someone who knows something you don't. The smile of someone who's been waiting. I hit the gas. My tires squealed and I accelerated past the gas station, past the man who was now turning to watch me go, past the white truck with its door hanging open. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel. My breath was coming fast and shallow. What the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck? I checked my mirror. No headlights behind me, but I couldn't see much beyond the immediate glow of my taillights, just darkness. The road curved and I took the turn too fast, my tires slipping on loose gravel at the edge. I corrected, slowed down slightly. Crashing out here would be worse than anything else. 6% battery. I opened my GPS. The route was still showing, but I was definitely off the main path now. The road I was on wasn't even labeled. It just showed as a thin gray line. My destination was 284 miles away. Next town. 41 miles. 41 miles. I could do 41 miles. My tank was still over half full. I drove. The road got narrower. At some point it went from 2 lanes to 1.5 lanes. The pavement was so broken up in places that I had to swerve around potholes. My speed dropped to 40, then 35. The desert on either side was invisible beyond my headlight range, just darkness pressing in. I kept checking my mirrors. Still nothing behind me. But then I saw lights ahead. Not building lights. Headlights. Coming toward me. My stomach dropped. On this narrow road, we'd have to pass each other very closely. I slowed down, moved as far to the right as I could without leaving the pavement. The lights got brighter, closer. I could see now that it was a truck. A white truck. No. It was impossible. I'd left him miles back. There was no way. But the truck was slowing down too, and as we got close enough, I could see in the glow of our headlights that yes, it was the same truck. Same dent in the front bumper. Same dark shape in the driver's seat. We were going to pass each other. I looked straight ahead, both hands on the wheel, jaw clenched. Don't make eye contact. Just pass and keep going. The truck pulled to its side of the road as we approached each other. Maybe 15 feet separated us as we passed. I couldn't help it. I glanced over. The driver was looking at me. Same man. Same smile. He raised one hand off his steering wheel in a little wave. Then we'd passed and he was behind me and I was accelerating, my whole body flooded with adrenaline. I checked my mirror. His brake lights came on. He was stopping. Then his reverse lights came on. He was backing up, coming back toward me. I floored it. The car jolted forward and I gripped the wheel, focused on the road, on not losing control. 45, 50, 55. Too fast for this road, but I didn't care. I checked my mirror. His headlights were getting smaller. He'd stopped reversing, just sitting there in the middle of the road, watching me go. Then his headlights swung around. He was turning around, coming after me. My phone. 3%. The road ahead forked. I had maybe 3 seconds to decide. Left or right. My GPS was useless. Neither fork was showing as an actual road, just thin gray lines that might be vehicle tracks or might be nothing. I went right. I don't know why. Just turned right and kept driving. This road was worse. Barely a road at all, really. More like a dirt track that had been graded once, years ago. My car bounced and shuddered. I had to slow down. I checked my mirror. Headlights. He'd turned the same direction. He was following me. I needed to think. I needed to plan. Panicking would get me killed. Okay. He had a truck, better for this terrain. He was bigger, stronger. I couldn't fight him. I couldn't outrun him, not on this road. But I could hide. I killed my headlights. Immediately the world went black. I slowed to a crawl, straining to see anything in the darkness. There was a moon, at least, quarter moon, enough to see the vague outline of the road ahead as a slightly lighter gray against the black desert. I navigated by moonlight, going maybe 10 miles an hour, every muscle in my body tensed. My eyes were adjusting. I could see better now, could make out the bulk of sagebrush, the shape of rocks. There, on the left, a wash, a depression in the ground where flash floods probably ran during storms. If I could get down into it, he might pass right by me. I turned off the road, easing down the gentle slope. The car rocked and scraped on brush. I went maybe 30 feet off the road, then stopped, put the car in park, and turned off the engine. Silence. I sat there in the darkness, hands still on the wheel, trying to breathe quietly even though I was alone. My heart was slamming against my ribs. Then I heard it, the sound of an engine. I slouched down in my seat, below the window line. The sound got louder. I saw the glow before I saw the lights. The whole desert around me lit up in a wash of white as his headlights swept past. He was going slowly, maybe 20 miles an hour, looking for me. The light moved across the interior of my car, and I held my breath, pressed against the seat, waiting for the engine sound to change, for the lights to swing around, for him to stop. But the light kept moving. The engine sound faded. He'd passed me. I waited, counted to 60 in my head. Then did it again. Then again. My phone was dead. The screen wouldn't even turn on when I pressed the button. I was in the middle of the Nevada desert, at night, off-road, with no phone and no lights and being hunted by someone in a truck. I tried to think logically. He'd keep going for a while, realize I wasn't ahead of him, turn around. I needed to move before he came back. But which direction? Back the way I'd come seemed like suicide. Forward meant potentially running into him. Across the desert was impossible. My car would get stuck immediately. I needed to get back to a real road. The main highway, even if it was miles away. I decided to wait 15 more minutes, then start my car and drive back the way I'd come, but with my lights off, using moonlight, slowly and carefully. If I saw his headlights, I'd stop and hide again. I counted seconds in my head, tried to stay calm, reminded myself that I could do this. I'd done harder things. I was smart. I was capable. At around the 12-minute mark, I saw lights in the distance. Coming back, he was returning down the road. I sank lower in my seat. The lights got brighter, closer. I could hear his engine now. Then the engine sound changed. He was stopping. The lights were stationary now, pointing sort of toward my position but not directly at me. I could see the cone of his headlight beams cutting through the darkness, illuminating the road and the desert beyond. Then his door opened. I heard it clearly in the silence, the creak of hinges, the click of the catch. He was getting out. I couldn't see him from where I was slouched down. I didn't dare lift my head to look. But I could hear footsteps. Boots on dirt and rock. He was walking, moving around, looking. This was the most terrified I have ever been in my entire life. Every animal instinct I had was screaming at me to run, but I couldn't. Running meant being seen. Being seen meant being caught. The footsteps were getting closer. Then I heard his voice. He was talking, not loud, but in the silence I could hear him clearly. "I know you're out here." His voice was calm, almost friendly, like he was talking to a friend who was playing hide and seek. "Your car made tracks. Saw where you turned off. It's dark, but not that dark. Oh God, oh God, oh God. Here's the thing. You seem like a smart person. You've made it this far. But you're going to run out of options eventually. Car's going to run out of gas. You're going to get thirsty, hungry, scared. His footsteps crunched closer. I could hear him breathing now. Me? I've got supplies. I've got time. I know this area real well. Every road, every wash, every place someone might think to hide. I reached slowly, carefully, for my keys still in the ignition. If he got close enough that I had to run, I'd need to start the car fast. You're probably wondering what I want. That's fair. He paused. I could hear him moving, walking a slow circle somewhere near the road. Truth is, I'm just curious. You came through, middle of the night, alone. Saw me at the rest stop, saw me on the road, saw me at the station. And you kept going. You ran. That's interesting to me. Most people, they stop. They try to talk. They ask for help. My hand closed around the keys. I tried to remember. When I started the car, would the headlights automatically come on? I thought they would. Shit. You trusted your instincts. I respect that. But here's the thing about instincts. Sometimes they're right. Sometimes they're wrong. Sometimes they save you. Sometimes they trap you. He was quiet for a moment. I'm going to give you a choice. You can come out now, we can talk, and maybe this ends different than you think. Or you can stay hidden, and we play this out, and I promise you, I have more patience than you do. I stayed absolutely still. It was a trap. Obviously it was a trap. Everything in me knew that coming out would be the worst possible decision. Okay, he said, your choice. I heard his footsteps moving away. Back toward his truck. His door opened and closed. The engine started. Then something I didn't expect, his lights went off. The desert plunged into darkness. Just the moonlight now, dim and silver. I could still hear his engine idling. He was sitting there, waiting. I don't know how long we stayed like that. Him in his truck on the road, me in my car in the wash. Could have been 5 minutes, could have been 30. Time did that weird thing where it stretched and compressed simultaneously. My legs were cramping. My neck hurt from staying in this awkward position. My mouth was so dry I could barely swallow. Then his engine sound changed. He was moving. And this took me a second to process, he wasn't driving away. He was backing up. He was backing toward where I was hidden. I heard the transmission clunk as he shifted into park. Heard his door open. You're thinking you'll wait me out. His voice came from much closer now. That's smart, but I want you to consider something. Your car. It's probably low on gas by now. You've been driving for hours. You going to have enough to get back to civilization? He was right. God, he was right. I'd been at 3/4 at the rest stop. I'd driven probably another 60 miles since then, on rough roads, constant acceleration and deceleration. And even if you start your car right now and somehow get past me, which you won't, but let's pretend, where are you going? You don't know these roads. Your phone's dead. I saw you try to charge it back at the station. Battery's gone. How did he know that? Had he been watching me that carefully? You're going to make a wrong turn. Going to end up somewhere worse than here. And there are worse places, believe me. Things out in this desert that aren't on any map. His voice was moving. He was walking around, searching. Or maybe you get lucky. Maybe you find the main road. But then what? You're going to tell people someone followed you? Someone scared you? No crime in driving on the same road as someone. No crime in stopping at a rest stop. I heard him kick at something. A rock, maybe. You probably think I'm some kind of monster. Maybe I am. But I'm also the only other person out here. The only one who knows these roads. The only one who could actually help you if I wanted to. He paused. Or not. Choice is always yours. Something in me snapped. Maybe it was fear turning to anger, or maybe it was just the realization that passive hiding wasn't going to save me. He was too patient, too methodical. He was going to find me eventually. I needed to change the equation. Very slowly, I sat up. I could see his truck now, parked about 40 feet away, door still open. But I couldn't see him. He was somewhere in the darkness, still searching. My hand was still on my keys. I took a breath, then another. Then I started my car. The engine roared to life and my headlights blazed on, and in that first second I saw him. He was maybe 20 feet away, caught in my headlights, squinting against the sudden brightness. I didn't hesitate. I put the car in reverse, hit the gas, and rocketed backwards up the slope to the road. My back windshield showed me nothing but darkness, and then suddenly I was on the road, and I shifted into drive and punched it. I saw him in my rearview mirror, running toward his truck. I drove faster than I'd ever driven on a dirt road. 50, 60 miles an hour. The car bounced and shook, and I held on and prayed I didn't hit a rock that would tear out my oil pan. His headlights came on behind me. He was coming. The road forked again, and I went left this time. Then another fork. I went right. I had no plan except distance and randomness. Make it harder for him to predict where I'd gone. My gas gauge was at a quarter tank. Then below a quarter. The low fuel light came on. I saw something ahead. Hoped desperately it was the main road, but it wasn't. It was another abandoned structure. But this one had something the others didn't. Cars. Multiple cars, 6 or 7 of them, parked in a rough semicircle. Old cars, from different decades. Most were covered in dust and desert grime, windows either dark or broken. I almost drove past, but something made me stop. I pulled in among the cars and turned off my engine and lights. In the silence, I could hear his truck in the distance. The engine sound was getting quieter, though. He'd gone past, continued down the wrong fork. I sat there shaking, trying to think. Those cars, why were they there? Had they always been there, or? I got out of my car. This was stupid. I knew it was stupid, but I had to know. I walked to the nearest car, an old sedan. The driver's door was unlocked. I opened it and the dome light came on, weak, but still working. Dead battery, keeping just enough charge for that. The interior was empty except for dust and some papers in the passenger seat. I picked them up, registration and insurance documents. From 2015. The name on them, Patricia Rowland. Sacramento, California. The next car was a truck. Registration from 2017. Oregon plates. The next, 2016. California. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the papers. These were all people who'd come through here. All people who'd maybe taken the same shortcut, made the same wrong turns. And their cars were here, but they weren't. I heard an engine sound in the distance. Getting closer. Coming back. I ran back to my car and got in. I needed to think. Wait. One of the other cars. I'd seen it when my dome light was on. A newer model SUV. I got out again and ran to it. The door was locked, but the window was cracked. I reached in and unlocked it from the inside. Popped the center console, phone charger, and it was the right type for my phone. I grabbed it and ran back to my car. Plugged in my dead phone. Turned my ignition to accessory power without starting the engine. The charging symbol appeared on my phone screen. Come on. 1%, 2%. His engine sound was getting very close now. 3%, 4%. My phone powered on. The screen lit up. No signal. Of course there was no signal. But the GPS still worked. It just needed battery, not cell service. I opened it, saw my position, saw the thin gray lines of these back roads. And I saw, about 6 miles southeast, a thicker line. State Highway 278. His headlights appeared, sweeping across the area. He was coming back. I started my car and drove. No time for stealth now. I turned on my headlights and drove as fast as I could toward that highway, following my GPS, taking turns that the blue line on my phone told me to take. He was behind me. I could see his lights in my mirror. 5 miles to the highway. 4 miles. My gas light had been on for probably 20 minutes now. Any moment the car could sputter and die. 3 miles. He was gaining on me. His truck was faster, better for this terrain. 2 miles. His headlights were close enough that I could see his front grille in my mirror. 1 mile. The road ahead improved suddenly, real pavement. And then I saw it. Highway 278, a proper 2-lane road with fresh paint and reflectors. I turned onto it, heading north, and floored it. My little car had nothing left to give, but it gave it anyway. 70, 80, 85 miles an hour. He turned onto the highway behind me. But something changed. He wasn't accelerating anymore. He was falling back. I checked my mirror. His headlights were getting smaller. He was slowing down. Then he stopped. Just stopped in the middle of the highway. I watched his lights until I went around a curve and couldn't see them anymore. He'd let me go. I drove north on Highway 278 for 40 minutes, running on fumes and adrenaline, until I saw lights ahead. A truck stop. A real truck stop with 18-wheelers and bright fluorescent lights and a convenience store. I pulled in and my car died as soon as I put it in park. Completely out of gas. I sat there in the parking lot, surrounded by light and people and normalcy, and started crying. A truck driver asked me if I was okay. I said car trouble. He helped me get gas. I thanked him about 100 times. I drove straight through to Denver. Didn't stop except for gas. Took the main highways. Arrived at my sister's place at 4 in the morning and she found me sitting in her driveway, unable to make myself get out of the car. That was 4 years ago. I reported it to the sheriff's office in Eureka, which is the closest town to where I think this happened. I told them about the man, about the truck, about the cars. They took a report. They were polite. They said they'd look into it. 3 months later I got a call. They'd found the location I described with the abandoned cars. 6 vehicles total. They'd been there for varying lengths of time, between 3 and 8 years. All of them were traced to people who'd been reported missing. People who'd been traveling through Nevada. People who'd never arrived at their destinations. They also found a cabin about 2 miles from that location. Abandoned, they said, evidence of recent habitation. They wouldn't tell me more than that. They never found the man. Never found the white truck. The investigation is still technically open, but I get the sense that no one's really working on it anymore. Here's the thing that keeps me up at night. I looked up Route 376. I traced my entire route as best I could remember it. That road I turned onto, the one that started this whole nightmare? It doesn't exist. I mean, I know I drove on it. I know it was real. But it's not on any official map. It's not maintained by the state. It's just there, I guess. An old road that goes nowhere, that connects to other old roads that go nowhere, all webbing through the desert to places people don't go anymore. Or places people go and don't come back from. I think about the cars a lot. About the people who were in them. About what happened to them. I think about how close I came to being another one. And I think about the man in the truck. About his patience, his calm, the way he knew those roads. The way he said he'd done this before. He's still out there. I know he is. Still driving those back roads at night. Still watching for headlights. Still smiling that smile. I don't drive alone anymore. Ever. I don't take shortcuts. I keep my phone charged obsessively. I have 3 backup charging cables in my car. I check my backseat before I get in, every single time, even in my own garage. My therapist says I have PTSD. She's probably right. She says I should be grateful I escaped. I am. But grateful isn't the only thing I feel. Mostly I feel guilty. Because I got out, and those 6 people whose cars I found, they didn't. So that's my story. That's why I won't meet you at that rest stop, or take that scenic route, or trust that friendly stranger who offers to help. That's why I'm writing this at 2 in the morning, because I can't sleep and I keep thinking about the smell of that desert and the sound of his footsteps and the way his headlights looked in my mirror. If you're ever driving through rural Nevada, or anywhere remote really, and something feels wrong, trust that feeling. Don't try to rationalize it away. Don't convince yourself you're being paranoid. Because you're not. You're picking up on something real. Something dangerous. And by the time you're sure, it might be too late. TLDR. Took a shortcut through rural Nevada, got followed by someone who hunted me through back roads for hours. Barely escaped. Police later found 6 abandoned vehicles belonging to missing people in the area. The man was never caught. Edit. A lot of people are asking for more specific location details. I'm not comfortable sharing the exact coordinates. The investigation is still technically open, and honestly, I don't want anyone going out there looking. That